Time for an unpleasant blind guy, Conservative Byte. When celebrities talk, though this shouldn't be the case, people listen, and they act on their words. Recently, Quentin Tarantino appeared on MSNBC to answer allegations of bias against law enforcement officers, which arose from the following statement that Mr. Tarantino made at a recent anti-police rally.
What am I doing here? I'm doing here because I'm a human being with a conscience, and when I see murder, I cannot stand by, and I have to call the murdered, and I have to call the murderers, the murderers.
The MSNBC interviewer played the following from Congressman Ted Poe of Texas.
He referred to peace officers as murderers. His hateful rhetoric called for violence against law enforcement. I have to call a murderer a murderer, and I have to call a murder a murder, adding that he is on the side of the ones who confront and are confronted by police. His comments encourage mischief and crimes against peace officers. For the haters to justify lawlessness in response to perceived lawless acts by the police is idiotic.
You have a response to the congressman?
Well, that's not what I said.
But that is what you implied, Mr. Tarantino. The implication is that as long as there is a white face attached to it, there is a bigot under every bed and a racist behind every badge, eager to gun down non-white people for the simple reason of race hate.
It's much easier to feign outrage and start arguments with celebrities than it is to deal with the fact that the citizenry has lost trust in them.
More accurately, Mr. Tarantino, it is easier for people like you who haven't lived in the real world since the launch of your cinematic epic Lovebirds in Bondage in 1983 to create pseudo-fact as if it was a movie script, and then try and impose your own particular style of social engineering on the real people of the United States of America who live real lives in the real world, and who, unlike you, do not have armed security protecting them.
They want me to shut up, and they want to make sure that no other people like me, prominent citizens, will stand up for that side.
This last statement, Mr. Tarantino, tells everyone anything they need to know about your character. You consider yourself a prominent citizen. Well, being one who is not unsympathetic and understanding that you haven't lived like the rest of us since Ronald Reagan was in the White House and Donna Summer was working hard for the money, allow me to correct you. This is the United States of America. We are all prominent citizens in this country. I will allow that in your Hollywood bubble, and to those unwise enough to listen to celebrities as if they had some sort of special wisdom, you are influential. But every citizen, regardless of background, of the United States of America is a prominent citizen. I know you do not believe this to be the case, but the rest of us do. Your opposition does not want you to shut up. We extend to you, as we should, the right to free speech, which every citizen in the United States of America enjoys thanks to the sacrifice of the men and women of our armed forces. But we also expect for you to respect our right to speak freely, and this includes criticizing you. In the real world, sir, people receive feedback all the time, including me, and it's not always positive. That is how free speech works for all the citizens of the United States, including you.
They're going to read what I said. They'll watch this show. They'll hear what I have to say. And I think they'll make up their own mind, and we'll see what happens.
We certainly will. For my part, I will put the whole of Mr. Tarantino's MSNBC interview up at UBG Contact on the Twitter so that I will not be accused of taking remarks out of context. Mr. Tarantino, this may be difficult for you to believe, but it is not hyperbole when I say that all over the United States of America, right now, good law enforcement officers who treat everyone equally go on watch, knowing that people like you have helped to influence some people that it is not only acceptable for them to commit crimes, but it is acceptable for them to resist law enforcement even to the point of deadly force rather than be apprehended for those crimes. Some of those people are armed, some are not armed. Mr. Tarantino, it is the duty of law enforcement officers to protect and to serve. If you wish to make the situation better, sir, might I suggest that you begin producing movies that do not make the commission of crimes look cool? Might I suggest that you begin supporting things like the Open Heart Closed Case campaign? Might I suggest that you familiarize yourself with the cases of such people as Sharnice Milton, Relisha Rudd, and Cecil Mills? Might I suggest that while you highlight cases that you believe portray law enforcement officers as murderers, you step up and address the problem of black-on-black crime? Mr. Tarantino, you can do a lot of good with your influence, and your words can do a lot of harm. But whatever happens, you can rest assured that police protection will always be there, even for people like you, Mr. Tarantino.
This has been an Unpleasant Blind Guy Conservative Byte.